If I'm the president of Palau, I would play an Uno reverse card so fucking fast it would make your head spin. I would make sure that I found a way to take those 75 deportees and make them such active members of my society that it basically told America, look what you missed out on. Now, I know he probably won't, but let me live in a fantasy world for just a minute here, because if there's any place that deserves to stick it to the US, it's Palau, because the Trump administration hasn't been so nice to them. Now, we understand as a government, we understand the critical nature of these South Pacific islands. Ever since Pearl Harbor, we've been like, we need eyes out there in the water. And so we understand the strategic placement of all these islands and the importance of them being our friends and allies and being able to land airplanes there for refueling and those types of things, right? So they hold a very strategic position for us. In fact, we are continuing to contribute money to the nation of Palau so they can rebuild some old airfields and radar technology and all of that. Now that serves our needs. That serves us. So let's talk about the people of Palau. There are just under 18,000 of them. That's their entire population. It's a very, very small place. And they don't have a lot of the luxuries and infrastructure and things that we have. But that doesn't mean they're an uncivilized people who don't deserve to be treated well. Over many years, they have relied on the U.S. To help kind of keep them afloat, right? We financially support them in many ways. One of them was through USAID. They were a recipient of that program. But those Doge dickheads came in and canceled that program. And we're just starting to see the worldwide catastrophic effects that lack of funding is having around the world. And right after the funding was pulled, the president of Palau was like, well, you know, we trust this administration. We think this is just a temporary thing. We really do think that the funding will come back. Like, they're trying so hard to be politically correct and hopeful when they just got fucked. Their big concern is really, honestly, combating climate change, because they're a small island. One typhoon can wipe them off the face of the planet, and they know this. So their most important mission is to have funding to combat climate change. Well, when Donald Trump pulled out of the Paris Agreement for the second time, in both administrations, he's pulled us back out of the Paris Climate Agreement. Palau had to say, like, Jesus Christ, this guy doesn't give a shit about us at all. 'Cause he doesn't. He doesn't give a shit about you. Now, he may have tried to throw them a bone when he said, oh, well, we won't tariff them. The newspapers all made this big deal about Palau won't have to pay tariffs because Palau has no fucking exports. You can only tariff exports if you don't have any. When was the last time you put on a t-shirt that said made in Palau? It doesn't exist. There are 18,000 people on a small little tiny island that barely has Wi-Fi. Do you really think that they're exporting things to the US in mass quantities? They're not. So it's not a gift to save them from the tariff talks. There's nothing to fucking tariff. So the president of Palau enters an agreement with the Trump administration to say, okay, we will accept a $7.5 million grant to take 75 deportees from your country to ours. We will accept 75 people because in Palau, they have a labor shortage. They've been very open about this. And I know some of you have come on here and been like, this sounds like a slave trade. And I know it could sound that way, but stick with me and let me explain to you why this could end up helping Palau and the Palau people could actually take these 75 people and integrate them into their society in such a meaningful way that they will feel dignity and respect again, which is never anything they're gonna get again from the Trump administration. And a major component of this is the vetting process. Palau has already said they have a labor shortage in certain occupations. So they're looking for specific talents, right? And they won't take anybody who's ever been charged with a crime. So they're going to get 75 law-abiding people who are hardworking in various areas, whether it's construction or farming or hospitality or food service or whatever. They're going to get people who have specific skill sets. And it's conditional that none of the people have ever been charged with a crime. And I know you're probably wondering, well, then why are they being deported? I know. I'd like to fucking know that too. Because we were promised, and I'm going to say that word again, promised by every member. Trump himself stood up to a microphone and said, we're going to get rid of all of the criminals, the rapists, the thugs, the murderers. That's who we're getting rid of. That's what they promised us. And now there's at least 75 people. I'm assuming they're all men, but let me just say 75 people who are going to go to Palau who have never, ever been charged with a crime. So why the fuck are they being deported? I will bet you many of them were brought here as children. They didn't know any different. They have worked hard. They've built families. They've paid taxes. They did everything the way you expect them to do it. When you say if they would just do it legally, fine. They were trying to fucking do that. They were probably on paths to citizenship. It wouldn't surprise me if ICE kidnapped them right off the fucking stairs of the courthouse where they were going for their immigration hearings. So if you've got 75 law-abiding, able-bodied, loyal people going to Palau, Palau has a tremendous opportunity to turn this to their favor. Come here. We will give you shelter. We will give you comfort. We will give you community. We will value you for your work. We will value you for your contribution. We will give you the second chance that you never ever would have had under the racist dog shit Trump administration. Come here and we will welcome you. We can help build infrastructure that helps protect us from rising seawater, and you can be a valued contributing member of our country. This is a terrific opportunity for the island of Palau to do something right for humanity. Let's see if they do it.